Dwight Howard, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing amazing. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, man. Thanks for taking the time to come on the rematch on basketballnews.com and Fly TV. I appreciate you taking the time. You still on a high right now? Like, every time I've seen you on Instagram, you just had this big smile. So,
Yes, sir.
how you feeling?
I feel amazing, man. I feel so grateful and blessed just to be in the league for 16 years and to play the game that I love and also have a chance to actually win the championship. So, every day has been like a dream. It doesn't seem like it happened. So I'm just trying to soak everything in right now and just enjoy this time, and I'm just so thankful.
Yeah, I was happy for you as we was watching and going back to the finals. You even on the court, you looked happy. Even when you
Yes,
was
sir.
on the bench, you looked happy. And I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit.
Hmm.
This was a redemption season for you. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
is that how
Hmm.
it felt, from the beginning?
Yes. Actually, it started in the summer of 2019 after I had just finished having back surgery.
Hmm.
Me and my family and my wife's family were sitting at home, and I was telling everybody that 2020 is going to be a really awesome year,
Yeah.
and I feel like we're going to win a championship. And I just had that feeling all year of, hey, we're going to win. This is going to be the year. This is going to be the year. And just every day on the court, I was just so thankful. And it didn't matter if I scored. It didn't matter if I played 35 minutes or 40 minutes. The only thing mattered was, actually holding up that trophy. And, sometimes you have to give up everything in order to win.
Yeah, it's tough because when I'm talking to different people, and they always refer to the first stint in LA,
Hmm.
and they compare the two and what was difference between the first stint and the second stint in LA.
Uh, well, see, the first stint in LA, I had just came off of back surgery.
Hmm.
I also came off tearing my labrum.
Okay.
And I also one of my ribs had popped.
Oh wow.
So it was a lot of things that was going on that I never even mentioned. I just tried to play through them, and I would say it just wasn't the right time. The first stint, man, I just think everybody wasn't healthy, and we had a lot of issues. But this year it was just everybody came together. We talked before the season. I remember the first talk I had with the team and the GM, and I told them it didn't matter if I played big minutes or anything, or even if I started, that didn't even matter. I
Right.
said I was going to do whatever I had to do to help this team win, and I was dedicated from the beginning of the season to the end to do anything, whether that be on the bench being the loudest cheerleader, on the floor being the best
Hmm.
screen setter,
Hmm.
whatever it took. I was willing to do it.
After the season, I wrote an article for basketballnews.com, really praising you and JaVale because of the way that you all handled the fluctuation of playing time.
Oh
And
man,
did you see the article?
I saw so yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
So
thank
because
you.
I thought it was a good example. I coach AAU now. Got my shirt on right now. The
Hmm.
Dynamic Disciples, and I coach AAU now. But it was a good example for younger players about how you stay in the team. You know how it could be when you're not playing,
Yes,
and somebody
yes.
pout on them, and they always pan the camera to the other person who the person is what I mean, subbed in for. So like when you do
Yeah.
well, they pan the camera over to JaVale. Or when JaVale does well, gives a dunk or something like that, they pan the camera over to you. And y'all
Hmm.
were always cheering for each other and happy. Was that a concerted effort or was that something that just naturally happened?
I think it was both.
Okay.
I think in the beginning of the season, it just naturally happened because of the talk that we had before we started playing. Me and
Mm-hmm.
him and Rondo and AD, had a really good conversation. And like I said earlier, I just told him that I do whatever it takes to win. And if I don't play, I'm going to be the loudest person on the bench. I'm going to be cheering for everybody that's on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring that energy. The energy is contagious, and I think that it really transferred over to when we got into the bubble where it was no fans.
Right.
So it's very important for us to stay locked in because it was hard. Coming from, a player that has played 48 minutes a game,
Right.
being the one to get all the points and rebounds and, stuff like that, to being a role player, I think, it's very tough for a lot of people to do. But, sacrifice is everything. If you're willing to give up yourself or give up something to get something, you'll always win. And that
Right.
was myself and JaVale's motto. Just give everything up no matter what happens. Just go play as hard as you can. And, every time he got a dunk or a three or whatever
Mm-hmm.
he did, I was the first one jumping up and down, being
Mm-hmm.
excited because, it's just like he's an extension of me.
Right.
And it just felt good seeing both of us succeed this year and actually winning the championship.
That's great. That's great. And I was really happy for you. And, and also happy for, I got big man bias, of course, and,
Mm-hmm.
with small ball. So when you was playing against Houston and went small, I was like, oh, look,
I was so mad. I was so mad, but I said, you know what? I'm going to stay ready. If I don't play this series, I'm going to, every day that we don't have a game, and even on game days, I'm going to go harder in the gym. I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to run. I'm going to go lift weights. I'm going to do
right.
whatever I can to be in the best shape. So when I do get an opportunity to play, I'll be ready.
That's what's up. Now, talk about the next series after that, because I really think that you was the key factor. And, with the Joker, you kind of threw him off. Your physicality threw him off, especially that
Hmm.
first game. It was apparent. I mean, he
Oh,
was all the
yeah.
way out of sorts, and he got quick fouls, and then he was trying to go to the refs. I thought, but they didn't talk about it as much. You know how big men
Hmm.
just don't get no love. But I
Yeah.
thought he was a key factor in that series.
Well, the crazy part about it is that we were all staying in the same hotel.
Uh,
And, for me, I just felt like it was mental warfare and I wanted to get in his head any way possible. So their meal room was actually across the hallway from our meal room. So we
okay.
saw them every day and I would go in there and I would speak to everybody. I would, just, every time I saw the joke, I'd be like, you ready for tonight? You ready
Oh,
for
so it started
tomorrow?
early. It
Yeah,
started
so
early.
every day I was, just trying to get in his head because one, I think he's a really good player, and sometimes the battle was won off the court, and
Mm,
that was the biggest thing. I just wanted to get in his head. I knew he was the key for them winning the championship if they got there. So my thing was be physical with him, get in his head, push him around a little bit, and then
mm-hmm.
actually after game two, we was having film, and coach said, "All right, you did a lot. You already in his head. Now you don't have to say anything to him." And so
Right.
after that, the second game, I didn't even talk no more. I just was quiet, and he was already done for. Every time, I stood up on the bench, he
Mm-hmm.
was looking over there. Every
Yep.
time he got
In his
ready to
head.
go into the game, I would run to the scorer's table just to, you know, tell him, hey, every time you get in, I'm right here with you.
Right.
And it worked out great for our team and also myself. And, it was very tough because that was a different role for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I had the opportunity to learn that, and it worked out well.
It's interesting that just the learning process, and you referred to it a couple times about
Hmm.
the adjustment from, where you were as being the main person, playing all the minutes, getting all the touches, and everything like that, to being a role player. If you could go back in time, say you could go, like Back to the Future, you know what I mean, with the
Hmm.
1.21 gigawatts and the flex capacitor and everything, go back in time and talk to 19-year-old Dwight. But,
Hmm.
but Dwight, when I met you back when we was doing big man camp with Clifford Ray, Dwight,
Yes.
you know what I mean? And
Yes.
young Dwight, what
Hmm.
would you tell him? What are the main things you would tell him to look out for, and what advice would you give to him?
I would just say stay locked in. I think that's the biggest thing is staying focused. It's easy to get to the top, or it's easy to get somewhere and lose focus because you got everybody telling you how great you are. And I would tell myself, don't get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Stay locked in. Stay focused on the mission, and enjoy it. Enjoy the moments. I think when I was young, I was so focused on the next thing, the next moment, how to get to this plateau and do this and that, instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to stay in this moment. And a lot of the things that, have happened in my career, it's like, man, I can't remember most of them because I was looking in the future instead of just being present. And that was one thing that got me over this year, just always staying in the moment, not worried about what happened the play before or what's going to happen next week. I just stayed locked in on that moment.
Wow. So what is your biggest regret? This is always a tough question, but I always try to
Mm-hmm.
give people a little bit tough questions because you're reflecting when you get older. You know, you look at your younger self and
Mm-hmm.
you say, okay, I could have done that a little bit differently. You know, what would be your biggest regret in your career?
That's a great question. I would say my biggest regret would be not allowing my emotions to get the best of me. You know, when it comes to teams and situations with teams, is me not liking a certain situation, just getting up and leaving. I think so. For me, it's just keeping my emotions intact. But everything happens for a reason. And I'm a person that doesn't really live with regrets. There's things I wish I could have done better or made
Right.
wiser decisions. But, everything has led up until this moment right here, which has been the best moment of my life. So I don't want to take anything away from that, because staying somewhere on another team or doing things a different way would have probably never got me a championship ring. So
Right.
I'm very happy with, how everything has fallen back in order.
Mm-hmm.
And it started with myself. I had to change, everything about who I was internally, and it just made me a better person, a better player. And also knowing that, I still have all the skills to be who I was in the past, but also knowing that I could do whatever a team needs to win. And that's what's made me, the person and the player that I am today.
You know, you've been through an era. How many years is this for you now?
16.
16. There you go, man.
Yeah.
So this is 60. So you've been in the league from before social media really exploded
Yes.
to afterwards. And there's a big
Yes.
difference. So it
Big
was
difference.
easier to ignore things before social media,
It
because
was.
you
It's
didn't you
very
didn't
true.
really need to see them unless you were,
Hmm.
but with social media, it's everywhere. How do you ignore things? Because that's what advice would you give to younger players in this social media era of how you're able to, I mean, you don't address certain things publicly. You kind of, certain things happen and your name is trending and everything like that, and you don't even
Hmm.
address it, and you don't, sometimes a lot of players, they feel the need to address it right there. Like, I got to go and I
Yeah.
got to answer this. So
Yes.
I noticed that you don't really do that. Is that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, because, I realized that people's opinions, that they don't really matter. What matters is what are you doing with your life? What are you doing, in your personal life? They talked about Jesus.
Right.
They realized that the best thing you could do is stay locked in and stay in the moment. And it's very tough though, because I've seen a lot of things on the internet. I'm like, man, I really want to just go live and just put all those rumors and stuff to rest. But at the same time, there's no need to. This is the life that I've chosen as far as going to the NBA. So I know that people are going to, have an opinion on my life and the things that I do on and off the court. And you just have to stay mentally strong. It's very tough to do that, but you got to stay mentally strong. I look at guys like Jay-Z, um, Puffy, all those guys. They don't respond to when people say things about them.
That's
They
true.
always take the high road. Because they're on a mission. They're trying to get somewhere. And if you on a mission, you're trying to get somewhere, and you're looking to the left or to the right, and you try to listen to what everybody's saying, you'll miss your mark. And I don't want to miss mine.
That's great. That's great advice right there. I mean, and so I got to ask you. So it seems like to me,
Hmm.
and it seems more one sided.
Hmm.
That Shaq has a thing with you and JaVale. I don't know what it is. I try to
You're
put
right.
my
It
finger. I'm
does.
like,
Yeah.
they don't say anything to him. Why is he always saying something about them? I don't. Are y'all? Is this some beef we don't know about, or are
I
y'all?
have no clue. It's crazy. When I first got to the team, me and JaVale was like talking to each other. And I was like, yo, did you do something to Shaq? And he was like, bro, I don't know, man. Like, he's always talking about us. And I'm like, yeah, man, he is. And It's just crazy. And I was like, man, let's jump him. And then we just laugh. But, I just realized, that you can't please everybody. Everybody's not going to be happy with you and what you're doing with your life. And the way that you kill him is kindness, instead of going back and forth with him and, saying things, just staying locked in, growing up, watching Shaq, I was, happy because he was a big man and, he was killing everybody. And I still think he's probably the most dominant player to ever play the game. But, I won't ever, if I had anything negative to say about him, I won't ever say that in the public eye or say that where people can hear it because I don't think it's necessary. He has family, he has kids, and he has people who love him. And, I just wasn't brought up that way, so I respect him for all the work he's done. I wish we could play each other again so I could end this beef, but I have a lot of love for him and the things he's done for the sport. And the way to beat him is to continue to play at a high level and not allow anything that's negative to seep in my ears, but just staying focused.
That's great. That's a great philosophy. I was thinking back to it, and it was, the Superman thing. And I was like, did that kind of rub him the wrong way a little bit? Did he just want Superman only for himself?
Because I got the Superman, and it totally came from another source. It wasn't even Shaq. It came from one day I was in practice, and I jumped over Bo Outlaw and dunked the ball. And everybody was like, man, you really like Superman. And I used to always do the Soldier Boy dance when he had the Superman song. So that's how Superman came from me. It was everybody always seeing me do the dance at home and in practice. And then once we got to the dunk contest, my cousin, he said, hey, man, you should put on the cape for the dunk contest because you be flying in the air. So I put on the cape in a Superman outfit. And that's where everything came from. It had nothing to do with Shaq or trying to be like him or anything like that. It was more so just because I love to dance and I jumped over somebody and I did the Superman dunk. That was
it. that's funny. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Like every time I see it, I'm like, what is? Like I said, it seems one-sided.
Yeah, it does.
I don't hear y'all ever going back, so I don't know. Like you said. You kill somebody with kindness and you give him respect, and he's definitely, a legend, and, it's just leave it at that. I want to ask you something else, switching gears a little bit. Earlier this year, I wrote, during the bubble season, I wrote another article, and I said that Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley and a lot of the commentators, I said that they owed you, Kyrie Irving, and Avery Bradley in particular, apologies.
Yes.
And the reason, so you saw that too? So you watched a little bit.
Yeah.
So and I said that because, and just to tell everybody the background of the reason why I said that, they were really harsh with their criticisms of y'all when y'all suggested that since everything that was going on with police brutality, with social unrest, everything like that, that maybe basketball wasn't the number one priority. Y'all just suggested it. Y'all, what I mean? And they just lambasted you in the media. But during the bubble season, after Jacob Blake was shot multiple times in broad daylight, and all the players went on strike, then they were singing their praises. And Stephen A. Smith was like, "Oh, they're using their platform so courageously and all that." I was like, "Wait a minute, I was like, okay, y'all owe them an apology." So that's why. And I wanted to ask you, did he ever address it with y'all? Did they ever?
None of them did. Nobody said anything. And it's crazy because it's not like we didn't want to play,
right?
But we're looking at everything that has been happening in our society, and we're like, man, we got to do something about this. Like, we have the biggest voices out of any athletes, and our thing was, hey, let's get the athletes together from WNBA, NBA, football players, baseball, artists, everybody that has a platform. Let's all try to get together and change this, because the one thing that's missing is unity. We've never been on the same page, or we've never been one unit, as a nation. We say United States of America, but are we really united? And, we wanted to start that whole front of, hey, we're going to be on the same page. You want to be united, and everybody killed us for it. And it was very upsetting. I was getting a lot of crazy messages from people, and just hearing people talk about us. I'm like, dang, like all we try to do is see us come together. I've been in the league for so long, and I've seen so many incidents happen back when Trayvon Martin died, and Floyd, and just all the people who have passed away from police brutality. And our mindset was, man, something has to change. We've worn T-shirts, we've taken pictures, we've done all the things that look good on camera, but now it's time to get out there and really make some change. And the one thing I wish we really did was get together with the women from the WNBA, because they're powerful. A lot of the things that they've done and said has really motivated a lot of us. And it's nothing. I think at this time we all need to have great women in leadership, because they're not afraid. They're not afraid to say things, and they're not afraid to do things. And they're the backbone of everything. So we were extremely hurt by the things that people said, but all in all, I think winning the championship, it brought some kind of togetherness. It still hasn't changed a lot of things globally, but I know a lot of people felt like this championship that the Lakers won this year was for everybody, and I felt the same way. And there's still more work to be done.
It's interesting. I saw, and I made this comparison in an article I wrote for The Guardian, and I was talking about LeBron. And I was talking about how I made a comparison to Muhammad Ali. And the comparison I made was that the opposition is rooting for him to fail because they disagree with his message. And I haven't seen that to this level from anybody, since Muhammad Ali. Did y'all feel that as well?
We did. Every day, everything we saw was like so many people, going back with LeBron and saying things, just crazy. And I'm like, man, nobody can have an opinion in our society anymore, or want to change something that they feel strongly about. And, it's just upsetting when it's like, man, all we all want is change. And then all of us realize while we're in the bubble that the change that we really wanted started with us. We want the world to change. We can't change the world. I tell people all the time, you can't change the ocean, but you can change the direction that you sail in the ocean. And, that's how we take that approach. We can't change everybody's opinion, but, people will follow us if we're going down the right path.
So take me through what happened in the bubble, because there's been a lot of different reporting, a lot of different speculation, people getting facts wrong, because that's what happens with media sometimes. But when everybody went on strike, and they said the Lakers and the Clippers were two of the people that didn't want to come back, maybe wanted to continue striking. But then you hear all these different stories and anonymous sources and all of that. Walk me through the process and then what came from that, because I want to know specifically what happened when the Board of Governors came and met with y'all. Do you know what I mean?
We was ready to go. Our team and the Clippers, we were ready to go because, like I said, we tried all the other things. We knelt during the national anthem. We talked about it. It's like, this is still happening and nobody's hearing us. So, our team had a meeting and the consensus was, we out. Let's get together. Let's go and let's get on the front lines. And I would say by the end of that night, everybody was like, yo, we need y'all to play. We need everybody to come back. Because
when you say everybody, who was saying that to y'all?
Just other teams.
Okay.
People, Obama had called LeBron and told him what impact that, we would have by playing and winning. We made a big statement. I think once we set out, everybody started to sit, and say, all right, now we got to do something. I think we got everybody's attention. And that was the biggest thing. People are watching. They're watching us now. And, now it's about giving the right example. And I think the message that we got across the NBA and with all the fans and people around the world is, You know, these guys aren't playing. They really want to see change, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to see change. And I was very happy about that. You know, but we were probably 45 minutes away from packing our bags and everybody leaving the bubble.
Right.
So, it was a very close call.
So let me ask you this. So when the different CEOs came, and I don't call them owners for obvious reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but the different CEOs came down and met with y'all. Adam Silver calls them the governors. So the board of governors
Mm-hmm.
met with y'all. What was the conversation like between you two, and how did they say that they were going to help?
Well, the conversation that we had was more so about what can they do to help us,
Mm-hmm.
if they're willing to, go the extra mile and to get people to vote and do stuff like that. That's where the conversation started. I, for one, felt like just getting everybody to vote wasn't enough for what is going on in our
Mm-hmm.
society. We need more change than just voting. Um, but one thing that they did mention to us was how, they felt like they needed to be more on a united front with all of us. And that was key, because usually you see it's the owners and the players,
Right.
and they're never together.
Right.
And, for the first time, I've seen most of the board of governors, they were on the same page as us. They're willing to do whatever it took to cause change in our society. So, I was very happy about that. And we had a very long conversation with, the board of governors. And that's why now you see the coalition that we have for, the NBA, and, how we plan on, basically using our voices and the owners to go in our cities and cause change in, each and every one of our cities.
Right. There you talking about the social change fund, right?
Yes.
That's what was formed from that. I had an interesting conversation with Mark Cuban, and
Mm-hmm.
I was his first draft pick that he ever made when he took over the Mavericks. So we have this relationship, and so I challenged him and a lot of different other CEOs to use their power in the specific cities where they are. So say for instance, Mark Cuban in Dallas, and he's a billionaire, with a B.
Yes.
So that's a whole different
Yes.
level of
Whole
influence.
different level.
So I was
Yes.
like, okay, if you have this power, you're rubbing elbows and in the circles with the police chief, with the mayor, with the governor.
Yes.
And I was like, so you could use your power. And I used the example of what happened here in Washington with the Washington football team, where Dan Snyder said forever he was not going to change the name. And then you had FedEx say, well, if you don't change the name, you're going to lose us as a sponsor. And then, like,
Mm-hmm.
overnight, he changed the name. And I said,
Right.
okay, so why don't you, Mark Cuban, and some of the other CEOs in the cities where you are, use that same influence and say, okay, if the police department doesn't adopt some of these sensible methods of police reform, you're going to lose funding.
Yes.
I guarantee you'll see a difference. But I
Yes.
want, I want guys to push for them to do more than just say, we're with you, Black Lives Matter, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. They're billionaires. They could
I
have
definitely agree.
a lot of influence.
I definitely agree. I think that they should actually do more than what has been done. I think not only do they have a great voice, they have the resources,
Right.
and that's something that we, the people, in the communities, we need those resources,
Mm-hmm.
to elevate, our communities. It's very tough for us to do it. They, people look at all the players to be the ones to make the difference.
Right.
And yes, we have the voice and we have the platform, but we need that backing from the owners, like Mark Cuban and like Jeannie Buss. We need the owners to actually be the ones to make a stand with us and make the change, because they have the resources and they have the connections and stuff that maybe we can't get into some of those doors, or even if we get in those doors, we need people to help knock down those walls so we can actually start moving.
Right. And all of them kind of seemed open to working with you, right? From what I'm hearing,
Yeah,
you just got to keep pushing them, right?
they seem open. That's
Right,
being open to it and actually working is two different things.
right.
So I'm glad that they're open to helping us,
Uh-huh.
but they need to actually, get down in the trenches with us, be on the front line, and help cause change because we're at a new place in our society and we really need each other.
Right.
All of us are experiencing something that, we've never experienced before in this pandemic. And it's been really hard on a lot of families. And
Yeah.
right now, the biggest thing is unity. Doesn't matter, what color, what race, creed, religion that you go by.
Mhm.
Right now, unity is the most beneficial thing.
Now, at any time with the bubble, were a lot because you heard about the conversations that was going on during that time. You heard Doc Rivers, who really stepped up in an amazing way to put, to have leadership and have that role. Talk to me about the conversations that were going on, not only within your own teammates, but with other
Oh
teams as
yeah,
well.
and we had this. I've been in the league for 16 years, and
Mhm.
this year was the first time all of us have come together and had a conversation.
Mm.
And that says a lot. Because I haven't seen it. And
Right.
I recall sitting down in front of the hotel with Joakim Noah. Me and him been knowing each other since we were 15.
Uh-huh.
And the conversation that I had with him was, how all of us have to really put down our egos and our pride and come together. This is the perfect time. We never had this opportunity to where we're in one location playing basketball. We've always been separated in our own cities, doing our own thing, but now we're isolated for
Mhm.
3 months. What can we do together to cause change? And it started with having those conversations. So we all actually built some real good, friendships, just based off being in the bubble, which is very key,
Mhm.
because it wasn't a lot to do in the bubble. We were really just stuck to our hotel. We couldn't use none of the amenities of Disney World.
Right.
So the best thing we could do was talk. And
Right.
so we spent a lot of time talking, not just the players, but, we would see the referees, which for me was like, man, I don't want to talk to no referees. They've been giving me bad calls my whole life.
Right.
I hate them. But we had a great opportunity to talk with the refs.
uh,
Not only the refs, but the people who work, for the NBA that we never really get a chance to see. We had a
right.
chance to see these people for the first time. We all actually had great conversations. And I think coming out of the bubble, everybody has this new sense of, I would say this newfound love
Mhm.
and appreciation for, everybody that was in the bubble because, it's very tough for all of us to be away from our families, our friends, and our loved ones for
Right.
so long, especially during the pandemic.
Right. And you're talking about the bubble. What is the system that they're going to use going forward? Like what I know that they had discussions and they had dates, and I saw
Mm-hmm.
everybody just voted to start December whatever it is, but
22nd, yeah.
22nd, right? But they haven't
Mm-hmm.
talked about what system they're going to use, and that's what I
I
keep
hope it's not the
listening.
bubble.
It's not a bubble,
I hope it's not the bubble
but they haven't said
because
either way, though, right?
they haven't. Thank you. It would be very hard to play without fans again. And that was
Right.
part of the hardest part for all of us, just playing with nobody in the stands. And um, I, for one, hope that we don't have to deal with another bubble. It's
But
very
the
tough.
coronavirus numbers are going up everywhere right now. So I don't
They
know how they're
are.
going to bring back fans. I don't know. Like, I'm just looking for a plan, and I haven't heard any plan yet.
Play outside.
Playoffs.
Make the arena, open the arenas up to almost like how the football games be. At least so we can feel like just not having fans
It's
was so
hard.
hard,
Yeah.
because in the games it's like it's quiet. You can hear everything. You can hear people's feet moving on
Right.
the court. You can hear all the conversations behind the scorer's table.
Right.
You can see the cameras. You can hear the cameras around the arena snapping pictures and rolling
Yeah.
things that you could never hear playing with fans. So it was kind of like a whole new experience for all of us, and you really had to bring your own energy. So
Yeah.
if you didn't bring energy, it was dead. It was lights out for you. So
But you brought energy. Like y'all, I
yeah,
would say you and JaVale, like the whole Lakers team, y'all was bringing energy. You know what I mean?
yes,
Caruso on the sideline, everybody. So y'all brought it. I just worry because, as far as the coronavirus concerns, I want everybody to be safe. And
that is true.
that's why I keep hearing, okay, what's the formula? What's the plan? What kind of, protocols are we going to be using? Because I look at the NFL and they always having positive tests,
Yeah,
positive
that's
results.
see, that's the thing. I understand the NBA doesn't want that,
Right.
but it's just so hard to not have these fans. We
Yeah.
missing. For one, for myself, fans give you kind of like a sense of energy when you playing in front of us. Like, man,
Right.
all these people came to see us play basketball. This
Right.
is a great feeling. So I'm gonna go out there and put on a show.
I get
You
it.
know,
I
so it's
get
just
it.
hard to really just play without fans. But our health and the health of our families and people around the United States and the world
Right.
is more important.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. So I would like to see you. I'd like to see everybody come back from the Lakers, to be honest with
Hmm.
you. I'd like to see the whole crew come back, run it back again.
Hmm.
But I know the way that, free agency works and everything like that, that usually doesn't happen. And you see rumors all the time. I got to ask you,
Yeah.
would you like to come back to LA?
I would love to. I would love to come back and play. I think the season that we had this year was kind of like a test for us all.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to learn each other, trying to figure everything out, and in the process, we won a championship.
Right.
So I would love for all of us to come back. I would love to come back and play for the Lakers again. Hopefully this year they give me a contract.
You be
You know,
guaranteed.
yeah, that's
Number
that's the
one.
biggest thing.
Number
I
one.
don't want to play for free anymore.
Right.
This year was like, okay, I'll do whatever. But I think that I've earned a right to have an opinion on a contract for myself.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing. But I would definitely love to come back and play for the Lakers. Uh, the best fans in the world.
Yep.
It's been amazing. My wife plays for the Sparks, so to be
Yep.
grateful,
I hear you.
for both of us to still be in the same city and play.
Oh, I'm sure that's big. Okay. And,
Yes.
and you brought up, how is married life for you?
You know what? I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love it. It's new for me.
Uh-huh.
I had never had a situation like that. But I'm very happy, and I think it's really just brought more peace, more happiness. But also just changed my life. When you have a really great woman behind you on your side,
Mm-hmm.
it just seems to make everything better. So I'm very grateful for her, and how she's just been like my rock and my foundation
And it seems like y'all just have fun together. Like
all the time.
y'all just both be smiling.
All the time. We're like twins. It's just crazy. Like we definitely enjoy each other's company. She pushes me to be a greater person, and I just try to push her to reach new heights, and she's
Hmm.
doing such an amazing job, and just try to be there for her in every way that I can.
And y'all work out together too, huh?
Work out together, eat together, cook together, pray together. We try to do as much things as we can together, and it's really good. I enjoy it.
That's good. That's a blessing.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
having a wife is a blessing. He who finds a good wife finds a good thing.
A great thing.
Great
Yes,
thing.
sir.
I can definitely attest to that. Shout out to
And women
Nicole,
are
my wife.
winning right now. Women
Well,
are
oh,
winning right now.
for
So it's
sure.
like, why not have a great woman by your side? They're going
Right.
to lead you in the right direction. And I tell people all the time, the man might be the head of the household, but
Hmm.
the body, the neck, the head can't turn without the neck.
That's right.
And uh, my wife, I listen to her voice and the things that she's saying, the directions that we want to move in, and
Hmm.
she's just been awesome, and I'm very thankful for her.
That's great. That's great. Well, look, I'm proud of you. Proud of everything you're doing. For big men everywhere. I'm proud of you for
Thank you.
the way and the redemption. Being able to answer critics and prove them wrong, and prove, because a lot of people, and I'm sure you heard it when you came there, like, all right, this might be his final chance. He might never play again if this don't work. I know you heard that, and
every
you
day.
proved everybody wrong and shut everybody up. And now they got to give you props. You know what I mean? Because you played well and y'all won a championship. So I personally would like to see you come back and y'all, go for it again back to back. That's my hope. But I'll be over here rooting for you. So thanks again for coming on. Thanks again for coming on, man.
I miss all the battles we had too, man.
We had some great battles.
Yeah.
We had some great battles back in the day.
It made me a better player and a better person. So I'm very grateful for those moments, man.
Well, the thing is, we both didn't shy away from contact. We liked contact
at all. That kind of helped me as long as the further I went on in my career. And just having those battles like that, because it taught me something. It taught me to never give up, on myself, no matter who my opponent is, no matter how strong, no matter how tough they are, just stay mentally strong. And, you was a big reason for that. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Appreciate that, man. Much respect to you, man. All right, so you have a good one. Stay safe, and I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's what's up. Bless.
All right. Bless.